Hi, everyone. I am super excited that you are here today. I am Michelle Burton, and we are going to talk about thriving through fall, some easy tools for your everyday life. We want to simplify it, we want to reset, and we want to thrive. So, fall, our favorite time of the year, right? So recent surveys have said that approximately 40% of Americans say that fall is their favorite time of the year. And I agree. But I would also argue it is one of the most stressful times of the year. We have jam-packed schedules, we have work, sports, school activities, the weather changes, the time changes, the holidays are coming. And with that, sometimes there's a lot of travel. Um, who's been there, right? Mom, my project's due tomorrow. Oh yeah, and picture money. My practice schedule changed and tomorrow's an early out. Really? Okay, son. The weather forecast looks like it's going to frost tomorrow. No, you are not allowed to wear shorts and flip-flops. Please go find your coat. Can you relate? Or is it just me? I have one child. He's grown now, but just looking at this list and running through those scenarios makes my heart just beat faster. It is a crazy time of year, and I have had every single one of those things happen within my life. So, but what we want to do today is we want to focus on opportunity versus stress. We love fall. But it is full. It is jam packed. And the reality is that life gets in the way. And all of these things, less daylight to deal with. It's crazy. You slip into survival mode versus thriving. And I'm not saying we're going to necessarily thrive, but we don't need to just survive. It's important that we, put together a plan, make some small adjustments to make our life so much less stressful. So, who's with me? All right. So, the fall stress pileup. Overbooked schedules. I love this picture because I feel like this was me. Sticky notes everywhere. Don't forget this. Do that. Got to run by the store. Soccer practice at this time. Football practice. Don't forget to pick up this. Constant transition. Travel family demands. Those of us who work, I mean, end of the year, we've got stuff going on. We can't just, stop and oh, sorry, my life is busy. No, no, no. And then when the time changes, our energy tends to falter a little bit. I don't know about you, but as soon as it gets dark, it's like, oh, it's dark. What's going on? And if we don't have quick tools, stress often turns into very bad habits like skipping meals or considering the concession stand fine dining. Guilty. Um, Late night mindless scrolling, rushing through everything to make sure it gets done. It just all starts to pile up, and our health suffers, our energy suffers, our life suffers. And we want to give you some simple tools that can hopefully lighten that burden for you. Okay. So let's see. All right. So stress isn't the enemy. Stress happens every day, probably to all of us in some form or fashion. So stress isn't the enemy. Stress is our body trying to respond to pressure. Anybody have an old-fashioned pressure cooker? I do. I have my mother-in-law's very old pressure cooker that we still use, and it always makes me a little nervous. But you always know, that sound of that steam when it's bubbling and that pressure is mounting. But the key to learning how to take control of that stress, excuse me, or to give you some tools for control, calm, clarity, and we can quickly reset and simplify things as possible. Tools give us that. We don't want to spiral out of control. So we're going to share some tools with you that will hopefully help you with these things. Now, we're going to talk about three different relief categories when it comes to stress. It's what we do for our body, how we shift our mindset, and how we simplify our environment. And I want to walk through each one of these. So if you have any questions, just let me know, drop them in the comments, or if you're watching the replay, just reach out and we'll see if we can get them answered. All right. All right, let's talk about body reset. For me, these I feel are the easiest because we recognize stress in our body, right? It shows up physically. So we have some tools that we can use. I don't know if you do this. I've done this with my child when he was younger. I just take some deep breaths. Sometimes I just needed to breathe. Life was out of control. It was spiraling. It was going nowhere. So, you know what? I would turn around. I would take 3 deep breaths, reset my body because we tend to shorten our breath and we don't even know it when we're stressed. And it just gives your body the oxygen it needs. And wow, that makes a huge difference, excuse me, for me. If you can, take a quick 5-minute walk outside. This time of year, it's beautiful to be outside. I live in the South. That wasn't always the case. I spent a large portion of my time in the Midwest, but I am actually from the South, so kind of back. But this time of year is wonderful. The humidity is gone. It's still sunny. It's still fairly warm. Go outside. It is amazing what the calming effect of just being outside and walking around for a few minutes can have on your body. And then step 3 of this for me is to hydrate. And it's a big one. I am not a caffeine drinker. My body doesn't really process caffeine very well. It doesn't metabolize it well. So I don't really drink caffeine, but I know people and I have friends who they run on caffeine. I get it. But water is so important. So you will notice in the picture that is 4 of us from Up Level when we were all together this summer, and we all have a water bottle. We know hydration is important. So before you grab that cup of coffee in the morning, please grab a big glass of water. Your body needs it. It dehydrates at night. It's been building and repairing itself in the night. And so you need to hydrate before you caffeinate. And it'll just set you up for a good day overall. I'm not telling you to give up your caffeine. I know people who literally would just not make it without it. So, but don't forget your water. It's super important because your body is made mostly of water. All right. So that's your body, right? Um, so now next on the list are some mindset shifts. And these can be a little bit more difficult for us because we don't think about it. We just go through our day, right? So the first one is a very powerful reminder, and it is done is better than perfect. Give yourself permission to do things well enough. This is one that I have to work on. A mentor once told me that 80% is a passing grade. And my response is, but I like A's, not the right answer. But he was correct. But I certainly had the mindset that it had to be perfect or nothing. And my employer at the time would far rather have the 80% than the 0 because if it's not perfect, I didn't want to hand it in or I didn't want to give it to them to send off or whatever. I was in the communications field, the marketing field for most of my professional career. And so that's just not that's not okay. They needed it done. And so it's okay to get it done and it not be perfect. I work on this daily still as a personal trainer, as a nutrition coach. I still work on this that 80% is a passing grade and done is better than perfect. So The other thing is taking some micro screen breaks. We sit in front of a screen for hours and hours and hours at a time. We are inundated with phones, computers, televisions. Walk away. Go outside for that 5 minute walk. Just take a break from the screen. It's really hard sometimes because we get in this mode, we get in this mindset. But just set it down or just walk away and give your eyes a break, give your mind a break, and you'll come back with some clarity. The other thing that is a good practice, and I don't do this near enough, is called three things journaling. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, a quick journaling session, it can be on a sticky note. It doesn't have to have the fancy, pretty journaly thing, although, that's cool too. Um, Write down three things that you can control today. If we focus on what we can control, it helps ease the stress, right? I can't control traffic. So that's not something I can control. So that's not something I write down. But I can control when I leave the house to go either to work or to, my errands or whatever that would impact where I sit in traffic. I can't control the emotions and things of other people around me, but I can control my emotions. So three things that you can control, and those are things that help you focus and ground you a little bit. And then that way you are feeling less out of control. We all like to have control of our bubble, right? And so by reinforcing those things that you can control, gives you that sense of calming. So it's a good little tip to help you with that. Now, our environment. Our environment plays a big role in our stress. Some people, if areas are super cluttered or messy, they get what I call twitchy. I am that way. I get uneasy. I get just restless, and it stresses me, and I can't concentrate. Um, and I laugh because I look around at my desk and I think, wow, it is very not organized, but I know what's in my piles kind of thing. But other parts of my house, if they get kind of out of control, then I definitely get what I call twitchy. One hack for that is what I call a reset basket. It's instead of having clutter just piled and piled and piled, and it's everywhere, get a basket, get a big basket, and things that don't have a place at the moment, chuck them in the basket. All right. Now, don't forget about the basket and don't put everything in the basket. You need to set a time, maybe on a weekend or right before bed or sometime to go through the basket and put things where they belong. But if it helps you, sweep everything in the basket. I do that for the mail. The mail stresses me. Um, and so there's a lot of junk, there's a lot of things I need to deal with. So I have a basket. It all goes in the basket. And then once every few days, I go through the basket. And in that way, they're not piles of mail sitting on the table, sitting on the counter, or wherever it happens to end up when I walk in the house. Um, that basket is a lifesaver for me. And especially if you have kids, I think that's helpful. I used to have a basket on the stairs. Well, that was great, except for the basket never made it up the stairs for my son. But we knew to look in the basket because that way things weren't strewn all over the stairs, they weren't strewn all over the floor. And it gave me a little bit of a sense of calm and clarity because my environment was less cluttered. The other thing is, and we used to do this in our family, we would, especially as my son got older, we would do a weekly calendar sync. And what I meant by that is that we all get together and we're like, okay, let's spend 15 minutes syncing our calendars, and hopefully it'll be the last time won't be the last time, but it will greatly reduce the times you hear, Mom, I need blank for this. For me, it was always, oh, we have concession stand, the sophomores, junior, senior, whatever. We have concession stands and I got to bring buns or I have to bring cups or I have to bring something. Yes, child. Um, and hopefully that will keep it to the minimum because if you know ahead of time, if you can sync your calendars on a weekly basis, you will know when practice is, when an early out is, when your husband's got to work late, um, or when you have conflicting things, and you can sort them out ahead of time versus reacting and trying to figure it out on the fly. It really helped us. We had a big calendar in the kitchen. We had, it was a 2-month calendar. I don't recommend this for everybody, but it worked for us. We each had a colored marker and we put everything on that in our color. We each had a color, and then our family things had their own color. So if we were going somewhere on the weekend or we had something, you know, as a family happening, we would put that as a family activity on the calendar as well. People would come in our house and be like, wow, y'all are busy. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? We know where we're going. So kind of helped. The other thing I would suggest is a snack or a grab and go basket. We all get hungry. We all get behind. We all are like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten all day kind of thing, which I don't recommend, but I know it happens. So having a basket with just some grab and go snacks, it can be in the fridge, it can be on the counter, depending upon what you put in it. But certainly make some healthy choices, put in the basket. So everybody knows if I'm hungry, Mom, what do we have to eat? You know what? Go to the basket. Just go look in the basket and see what's there. Sometimes the basket was a little low, but I always tried to make sure that there was something in the basket that was at least pseudo healthy that we could grab and go in a hurry. So um, hopefully that helps. And your daily routines. Routines make or break our sanity. I am a bit of a free spirit, but at the same time, I am very much a um, a task person. And so I don't get bogged down in, oh, it has to be done in this, at this time frame. But I do have routines for certain things. And we all have them, whether we realize it or not. When we get up in the morning, when we go to bed at night, we all have these routines that we do without even thinking. So one of the things for simplifying your daily routines is time blocking task. Batch task by the day so that we're not multitasking all week. Group things and focus on specific items. So I am so guilty of this. I will be cleaning something and I need to pick this up and take this into the other room. And when I get into the other room, I'm like, oh, well, while I'm in here, I should clean this and do that and this and that. No, stop. You have blocked that time to clean this place over here. You don't need to add these other things to it. Keep them all kind of in the same, general area so that you don't have to run all over the house. Like I said, I'm still guilty of this. I try very hard not to do this, but I still find myself doing it from time to time. One of my favorite things though is the 2-minute rule. If it takes them less than 2 minutes, do it now. I found myself doing this yesterday. I had to shred a stack of paper. I was like, oh, I'll just set it on the shredder. And I was like, really? How long is that going to take you? Minute, 2 minutes? Just do it now. It really does make a difference. And I have another rule in my house. It's like touch it once. If it kind of goes hand in hand with the 2-minute rule, touch it once. If it's something in your hands and you're going to set it down just to have to pick it up and put it where it belongs, just go put it where it belongs. Touch it one time. That way you're not picking the same thing up and putting it down 100 times because you're like, oh, what do I do with this? No, just do it. That has helped. That has helped me. Also, some prep zones for homework, your bags, your snacks, an area in your house. It doesn't have to be large. But this is where it can be by the front door. But this is where the backpack goes, the shoes go, everything that you need for tomorrow, whether it's you or your spouse or your kids. I did the same thing. I would a lot of times pack my lunch. So pack the lunch, get all of that ready, get my purse, get, all the things, my briefcase, whatever. And it all stayed in one little area. So in the morning, all I had to do was grab and go. Um, as long as I remembered what was in the refrigerator. So just maybe leave yourself a note. I don't know. But no, it does help. And especially if you have like children, even small children, having a place for where they know everything goes for the next day or for the next task really does make a difference. So, um, and one of the things, and there's a lot of research out now, and I should have probably pulled some of this for you, but a tech reset, a bedtime buffer. Give yourself a reset time, a buffer so your mind can wind down. We talked about how we are inundated with screens and they're always there, and um, our minds are still just flying by the time it's ready for bed. So, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever give your brain time to just come down from screen time. Your body will appreciate it, your brain will appreciate it. There are a lot of studies out there that talk about how your sleep is better, more restful sleep, those kinds of things. So set a bedtime buffer. I know, especially with little kids, it's usually easy. You can, you have bath time and then get ready for bed. And a lot of times there's story time, those kinds of things. And it just helps them wind down. As adults, we kind of need that too. So create that bedtime buffer in your nighttime routine. I think you'll see a difference. All right. Now, let's talk my favorite thing, food. I love food. But when you are in a hurry and when nights are busy, stress hits and everybody's like, what's for dinner? I'm hungry. I don't know what. Having quick meals, quick go-to meals, um, make life so much better. And I would even go as far as something I used to do, was meal plan for 2 weeks, and I would put it on the calendar we were talking about so that my son would know. So I wouldn't get, Mom, what's for dinner? And so that I would know and I could shop on the weekend and get everything ready and then pop it in the oven. Sometimes we ate on the go. We had to. He was an athlete from the time he was 6 years old all the way through a two-sport athlete in college. We were on the go and on the road a lot. And again, the concession stands became fine dining many nights, and I definitely don't recommend that. So, here are 5 things that you could potentially do. Sheet pan dinners, these are a lifesaver. Everything, one pan in the oven, minimal cleanup, and it is done and ready to go. Use your protein, pick your veggies, throw some potatoes in, pop it in the oven, 350 for 25 minutes, depending on your protein, how long it will take it to get done. And you're ready to go. And like I said, cleanup is minimal. Tacos were huge in our house. My son loves tacos to this day. We did tacos a lot. They're fast, they're easy. Who doesn't love a taco, right? Chili. I'm one pot meals. I'm all in for one pot meals. Chili is one of those. And especially as the weather's getting colder, it's chillier here in the South. The mornings are cooler. Even the nights are starting to get a little cooler, but the mornings are definitely a lot cooler. And so something warm and hearty is always good. Another thing we did at our house all the time, breakfast for dinner. Breakfast is so easy. A breakfast protein, whether it's sausage or pork, or turkey, or whatever you want, eggs, some toast, breakfast for dinner. That is super easy. I mean, if you want to throw some pancakes in there, sure, but for me, that was an easy dinner. And use your appliances. Slow cooker, excuse me, Instapot. I'm a huge proponent of using all those things that will make my life easy. I love a slow cooker just because, the crock pot has always been my friend. You can throw it in before you go up, walk out the door in the morning, and then by the time you get home, supper is ready, for the most part. One of my favorite things to do is to throw frozen chicken breast. Like if you bought, like I used to buy chicken breast, I still do buy, the big packages and freeze part of them. You can throw them in frozen into your crock pot, throw some taco seasoning and a jar of salsa over the top of it, put it on low, walk out the door, and when you come home, shred that chicken and you have your protein is ready. You can make tacos out of it. You can just add a vegetable and there's and maybe and a starch and there's dinner. You can use it for salads. I love that. We've done that for years and years and years, and it is super easy. What I love is that you can throw it in frozen. There's no prep. Chunk it out. It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot, and then just chunk it in, and you're done. Um, so those are some easy hacks for you for some meal prep. It's important to plan your meals, or you spiral down and you get off the rails, and it happens to all of us at some point in time. So give yourself some grace, but hopefully this will be a few tips that will help you make it a little less stressful. Also, we were talking about snacks earlier. Have those snacks. Now, I am also a bodybuilder, so I tend to eat very particular things at very particular times. But I'm a big proponent of whole foods. And so in the pantry, in the refrigerator, Greek yogurt and berries, nut packs or trail mix, veggies, hummus, cheese, and some whole grain crackers. Things that you can grab and go very quickly, that are much better choices than some of the higher carb, higher fat, non-nutritional based snacks that we tend to grab when we are in a hurry and when we are stressed. So fueling your body properly, with good quality, wholesome food will keep your brain sharp, and keep your energy levels, and honestly will make you feel better in the end. I personally believe. So, um, I could have never gotten my son to eat veggies and hummus. Wasn't going to happen. But he loved berries, loved cheese, um, some trail mix. Absolutely. All of those things he would eat. So pick what your family likes. Pick what you like. Not asking you to like, oh, we should go out and try these things. No, these are quick and easy things. You know what you like. You know what you eat. You know what your family eats. And so just having it all very in a basket, in a refrigerator, someplace where you can have easy access, and everybody knows that this is where you go for these healthy snacks. So, got a little assignment for you. We're going to ask that you pick your reset tools. We want to pick one body tool. We want to pick one mindset tool. We want to choose one environmental tool. And there's a handout that I think you were sent. If not, and you need it, drop us a line and we can get it to you. And it gives you this in a kind of a cheat sheet, things we've talked about. And choose one of these. What can you do to um, help your stress, help alleviate your stress? Is it going for that walk? Is it, getting your 2 minutes away from your screens? Is it getting that basket to throw things in to sort later? Choose your tools. This is not, oh my gosh, I have to change all of these things at one time. No, 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 no. We don't want to, we're trying to alleviate stress, not add to. So pick one thing. And if you pick one thing this week and one from the mindset tool next week to incorporate, stack those habits on top of each other. Small steps compound into huge change. You'll be amazed, what what just those small things will do. So choose your tools. All right. Some final thoughts. All right. I'm hoping that you got something out of this. Fall can be busy and joyful. Small tools equal great big relief. It doesn't have to feel frantic. You can be small shifts, and you can make the season your favorite again. So pick one body tool, pick one mindset tool, pick one environmental tool, and if you're feeling great, pick a meal hack. To me, those are easy wins. Um, let's make this fall your favorite fall, right? And before I run and let you go, I want to tell you about a couple of upcoming things we have. We're doing a life book club. We're going to start October 7th at 1 p.m. You can get the life book at Amazon, I'm pretty sure. And we're just going to be the first call on October 7th will be more just kind of set up the book club and assign reading and those kinds of things and see how it's all going to be structured. So if you're interested in that, please reach out, let us know. And then we are also doing an Optavia 28-day reset and a workout starting October 14th. Now, if you are a current Optavia client, contact your coach for more information. If you've never been an Optavia client and are interested in learning more about it, please reach out. We have several coaches in the up-level community here. And so we can absolutely talk to you about that and see if that's something that you would want to be a part of. It's designed to help you lose some weight, to get back on, to start your holiday season on a positive note. So if you've made it a little less stressful for you with some of these tips that we have done, then maybe you're ready to take the next step as well. But regardless, we hope you and I hope that you got something out of this, and I'm super excited that you are here. So if you have any thoughts or questions, please feel free to drop us a line, and we will see you next time. Thanks for being here.